a good weekend. Kayla, you held an open house, didn't you? Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Kayla held an open house for Jan. And
No, I didn't.
oh, you didn't?
Nope, she canceled it. She said that the owner shut off the electricity, so not to go.
Oh, God.
The third time that I've had an open house scheduled for another agent and we've got it canceled.
Oh my gosh. Why did they cut the electricity off?
No idea.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I'm sorry about that. Kimberly, I think, held an open house during the snowstorm. And this just goes to show that there are people out there that are serious about wanting to buy something, because she had several people come through that open house, even though, it was snowing and it was cold on Saturday. Unfortunately for her, all three buyers had agents with them, but I think that's kind of where I want to start this morning. And Beth Ann, I just sent you, and Kayla, I just sent you guys the handouts for what I was going to present to you. And Amanda is here in the building, but in Bird's office, so she already has them. And Logan, I'll send them to you as I'm talking here. But this whole thing about just trying to be intentional, really working hard at just finding things each and every day that will hopefully create business for you. And one of those things, as it relates to, finding an open house and deciding ahead of time that you're going to hold that open house, and doing what you can do to promote that open house for a few days prior to the open house is so critically important. I mean, putting the ads out, doing the Facebook boosting and stuff like that Vincent does is all great. And you will get some results from it. But really the main lesson that I want to share with you guys this morning is this intentionality in reaching out to people in direct ways. One of the handouts that you've got with you right now is one that came from the HANACON, one of the HANACON seminars, and it talked about power productivity. And power productivity meaning there's a difference between being busy and being productive, okay? Productive is intentional with measurable actions, planned with goals, systems, and use time as a tool. So I want to use two different examples with that, if I can. One is open houses. And when you can use an open house as an intentional measurable action and plan it properly with goals and systems and using time as a tool, what that means is trying to find the right open house at least a week in advance so that you can market that open house to people, let people know that you're holding it open, the neighbors, move up neighborhoods, talking to people at, coffee shops, seeing if somebody would post a flyer in a coffee shop showing that the house is going to be open on Sunday. Just thinking of different ways to make people aware that you're going to be doing that. And the key to that is when we do those types of things, even in the situation that Kayla had, where the person canceled because for whatever reason, the seller decided to turn the electricity off. All the things that you did in preparation for the open house to get to that Sunday, those few hours on Sunday, don't have to be for naught, because we've used it all during the week with measurable actions and goals of trying to create new business with ourselves, using the systems that that we have in place in regards to Facebook boosting with Vincent, creating flyers or little postcards inviting people to the open house. Beth Ann Beth Ann and David are going to be doing an open house here in a week or two, where they're doing a neighbor open house on Friday and then having it open on Sunday. And, you know, trying to encourage the neighbors in, so if other people are thinking about listing, but at the same time, even though that's for the neighbors, putting out directional signs, open house, because you never know who might just be driving around on Friday. At that Friday open house, you're telling the people that come in, hey, if you know anybody who's thinking about wanting to move into our neighborhood, you know, please invite them to come on Sunday to see this house. And so then you start getting other people promoting it for you. You start doing that sort of ripple effect type of scenario. You also, and I don't see a lot of this, and this, excuse me, this is why I think it could really work, is doing Facebook Live. Just real quick, Facebook Lives on Friday and Saturday before the open house on Sunday. That's going to go onto your Facebook page. It's going to go on your Facebook page. It's going to stick there, even though it's a live thing. People that go to your Facebook page later that day will see that video. And then if you can reach out to your sphere of influence, your fans, if you will, the people that really want you to be successful, you can say to them, hey, I'm going to go live from the house I'm going to hold open on Sunday, Friday at 5 o'clock or whatever. Would you please, be ready? And when I go live, would you please, come on and like it and comment? Oh, Kayla's the best. Oh, you'd love working with Kayla. Oh, Beth Ann does great work. I've bought a house from her. You guys should call her, and get people to comment into that video. Because again, that's going to stick on your page. And if somebody goes to that video, they're going to see those comments. Plus, once they make those comments, ask them to share it. Make sure you're making your Facebook Live video shareable. So, hey, when I go on at 5 o'clock, I really need you to put some comments in there, share some kudos about me, that kind of thing. And I also need you to be sharing it for me if you can, because then if they share it, it's going out to their, all of their friends. So it's not just your friends that see it, now their friends are seeing it. And you begin to really open up opportunities to build new relationships. Because if people share it and then people comment on it, you're going to see it. And then you can comment, oh, thank you so much. I didn't know you were a friend of such and such. If I can ever help you in any way, please let me know. And the point of all that is that you can do all these different things, and you can go into the roadmap for success that's in the Agent Hub, and go to maximizing an open house. And there's an outline of all the different things that you can do ahead of time, before even the open house, to use it as your lead generation activities for that week. And as another example, and we'll continue to move on, Zion Crossroads is having a home buyer and home seller seminar this weekend, I think Friday, right, Beth Ann?
Yes.
Yeah, so the same thing. There's social media going out, there are flyers going out, but the power of that seminar is the agents reaching out to their sphere of influence and saying, hey, we're doing a 1-hour home buyer seminar, we're doing a 1-hour home seller seminar. We'd love for you to come. COVID is starting to settle down, and we're doing this thing in person. We'd love to have you join us. And also, if you know anybody else who's thinking about buying or selling, we'd love for you to invite them for us. And so we don't just depend on the advertising, but we intentionally go out and do our own pushing out of the event. Every time I see something posted about that seminar, I'm liking it or I'm sharing it and saying, hey, you really should try to go to this. So I'm trying to, get my sphere of influence knowing that that's going on. And that's what you want to do with your friends and your sphere of influence, is get them to help you promote it. And ask them if they're not thinking about buying or selling, they probably know somebody that is. And So those are just two examples of being productive versus just busy, right? The next thing it talks about is the ADORE method, ADORE method. And the ADORE method is automate, working to get yourself automated, having as many things as you can get done that save you time, but get you out in front of people. And Barb, I'll send you the handout that I'm talking about via email here. One of the examples is Ben Fuller is going to be here starting this afternoon for this afternoon, tomorrow, and Wednesday, and he's going to be talking about different ways of automating yourself, different ways of using the GoHana systems to help you grow your business. Most of you, and Kayla, I'm not sure if I've added you in there. I need to if I haven't, but most of you got a Hana card from me this weekend saying, "Did you spring forward?" Right? That took me about 15 minutes yesterday, and because I've got all the contacts in Engage, and I've got them grouped. I've got them grouped into different things. And so I sent something out to each of the agents. I sent things to agents that I've been talking to in regards to you maybe joining our company. I sent something out to the University of Virginia basketball ticket giveaway group that we have. I sent something out to the Greene County Oktoberfest list that we have, and everybody got this Spring Forward postcard, but it had a different message for each group. And it literally took me about 15 minutes to do it. Once I can get my contacts into the database, into Engage, and then go into Hana eCards and add those lists in, it becomes automated. And it's been great. I got a lot of positive feedback from it, from people I haven't heard from in a long time. I mean, the one list has got like 1,900 people in it. And it's just people that are in my database from whatever. And again, this is what Ben can help you with. What he did is I sent him my database. I don't even remember how I did it, but I sent him my database and he did that, what is it called? CSV format. Is that CSV, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
He's the one who created it into the CSV format for me and downloaded it into my Engage. And then, I pulled it up. Now, the next piece of work I've got to do is obviously I got a bunch of undeliverable emails because they're old emails or whatever. So I've got to, do the hard work about going back in and either deleting those people because they're no longer whatever, or if I've got a new email for them, I need to, put that in there. But the point being is that that went out and communicated, Howard Hana, Roy Wheeler Realty Company, and me. And it just took about 15 minutes of my time yesterday morning, to make it happen. So figuring out how to automate yourself, having things that can go the way you want without a lot of time being spent. Delegating, if there are ways that you can delegate, it's a great thing. When I do a flyer in my neighborhood, for like the food drive or something like that, I get one of the kids in the neighborhood to do it for me. Hey, put these in the newspaper box for me, and I'll pay you $10 or whatever. Now, sometimes I'll do it myself because I need the exercise. So I'll just get up in the morning and walk through the neighborhood because I need the exercise. But figuring out things and ways that I can delegate. Example, you're delegating to Ben, helping you get that database in there. You don't have to, do it yourself. We get so caught up in, well, I can't do that, or I don't have time to do that, or whatever the case may be. Here's my list. Ben, can you get it in a format that allows it to get engaged? Another example, you guys know that I write a blog every week, and I have a lot of people that ask me about it, or I see something that somebody posts that maybe my blog from 3 months ago would resonate with them, but I can't remember when it was. right? The blog doesn't have a table of contents with it. Maybe that's something I need to try to figure out how to do in WordPress. But anyway, I delegated that to Jill the other day. I said, Jill, I want you to go on thankfulinallthings.com, and I want you to start from when I first started posting, which I think was in the fall of 2020. No, maybe I may have been 19. Anyway, whenever it was. And she went through in her downtime when she had didn't have other things to do for you guys. She went through and created, from the starting date to today, all the different blog posts, the titles. So now if somebody asks me, or if I think of something that somebody might be encouraged by, I can go to that and figure out where it is, and I can find it much easier to go back and copy the link and send it back or send it to that person. So learning ways to delegate things that you don't have the time to do, because we want you to be, as much as you can, out face to face with people, out meeting people, and that kind of thing. Outsourcing, finding ways to outsource things that somebody can do it better than you can do it. I'm sure all of you can think about different ways to do that. Replacing, from a standpoint of replacing, okay, what am I doing that's not working? Or what type of, activity am I doing that just hasn't, been productive, has not created business for me? Well, in that situation, we might need to think about replacing. And that goes back to the use of time as a tool. If something's not working, and I'm not saying things are going to happen right away. There's some things that take a long time to get going and to measure whether it's going to be successful or not. There are things like there's short-term prospecting and there's long-term prospecting. A geographic farm would be seen as a long-term prospecting activity, right? You might get lucky. And in the first couple of things you send out into a geographic farm, or Kayla has been out, putting things out in neighborhoods, letting people know she'd love to help them. You might get lucky and people respond to that right away, but the consistency is what's going to make it happen. Not the first time, not the second time, but the time and time afterwards, and finding ways to meet those people in person. We're sending things out. They know who we are. We're doing, what's going on in the neighborhood. We're getting, closer to the end of this quarter. And so from a standpoint of, putting something together about what's happened in the neighborhood over the first quarter of 2022. It's almost too late at this point to do a sort of year-end review because we're 3 months into the year. But certainly you could wait till the end of the year, get it working. Vincent's happy to help you with this. In creating something that says, here's what's happening in the marketplace in the first quarter of 2022. And you can leave that for people with the message, the call to action, if you will. If you'd like more information about your particular house, please let me know. I'd be happy to come by and meet with you. And this is the kind of flyer or postcard that can be hand delivered by knocking on the door and saying, hey, I'm Amanda. I'm with Howard Hanna Roy Wheeler. I just wanted to give you an update of what's going on in the marketplace over the first 3 months of the year. If take a look at it, and if I can ever help you in any way, please don't hesitate to reach out. And oh, by the way, if you didn't know this, we have a program called Buy Side, and on this card, put your phone up to the QR code, and it'll take you to a link as to whether you can find out what your house is worth. And the cool thing, again, going back to the automate, is when you do that, it goes into your Engage. They put their information in, their name, their home address, that kind of thing. And then they get the opportunity to see what their home is worth. And it's really pretty amazing. And it's very extensive. But at the same time, you're going to get an email saying that, hey, Beth Ann Boone opened, and looked at the value of their property. So depending on if you want to be, you could immediately follow up with them and say, hey, I saw that you opened the link. And if you have any other questions about what your home is worth, don't hesitate to reach out to me. Or you just do a handwritten note. If you don't want to make them feel uncomfortable that you immediately, followed up with them, just write a handwritten note saying, hey, I noticed in my database that you took a look at what your house is worth. Please let me know if you have any questions or you need any more information. I had a conversation like this last night with somebody who has a house and they're thinking about selling the house, and they run an Airbnb through it, and they wanted to know my opinion as to whether or not the house would be more valuable because they could show how many weekends it's rented and that kind of thing. And we want to be the source of the source, right? And I said, I'm not an appraiser. I mean, I appreciate you reaching out to me, and I forwarded it to Jay. And I said, Jay, can you please reach out to this person and give them a name of a couple of appraisers that you trust and respect. And so I wanted to be the source of the source. It gives Jay an opportunity to, make a connection and help out. But the point being is, in my opinion, I don't think it does increase the value, because in this particular area where this person wants to sell, it's really a residential neighborhood, and somebody who's going to buy it is going to probably buy it to live in, not to, rent it out 30 weekends a year. However, I told them that they could talk to the appraiser, and the appraiser could do what's called an income approach appraisal, where they would take how much money has come into that property and mortgages and upkeep and cleaning costs and things like that. And they could create a return on investment type of scenario and give them an income approach appraisal as well. But my own opinion was, especially in this market, things selling for more than what they're listed for, that I thought the residential approach, the comparative analysis appraiser, was probably going to be its highest and best use. And then finally, eliminating. And we all have things in our lives that we could eliminate so that we make more time for something else, right? I use this example a lot, but I'm not as consistently exercising as I was because I just really like my time in the morning, drinking my coffee and sitting there and feeding the birds and, just kind of, slowly but surely getting into the day. But I need to eliminate some things so I get at least a half an hour each day where I'm doing something, exercise wise, just good for me. I sleep better, all those kinds of things. And so I got to figure out, what to eliminate. And that comes back to what we talk about a lot, right? And that is time blocking. If you're looking, I can look at my day and see that I spent too much time doing this. I could have literally, like yesterday afternoon is a great example. I was watching the golf on TV, and I was doing some different things and trying to get some things accomplished. But I could have easily been on the treadmill. I could have been down in the basement on the treadmill or on that dreaded rower, and just spending 15 minutes or half an hour watching golf while I was on the treadmill or rowing, and I just didn't do it. So I could have eliminated some of my time in my recliner, doing the different things I was doing, and exchanged it for being, on my treadmill or on my rowing machine or whatever the case may be. The same thing as it relates to our business. Eliminating something so that we have an hour or an hour and a half every day that is focused on lead generation, that is focused on what rock am I going to turn over today and find some new piece of business. Whether it be, Beth Ann and the Zion Crossroads people this week, really intentionally talking to people about the home buyer and home seller seminar, right? Whether you're getting ready to do an open house, getting out there, whatever. Whether it's previewing, getting out, you've got people that you're looking for, you can't find the house for them. There's no better time than if a house comes on the market to reach out and see if you can preview it, make an appointment, even if it's, there are a bunch of people and you got to make an hourly appointment. That doesn't mean you have to bring somebody with you, make an hourly appointment and go in there and preview that house, and then use that as, again, going back to measurable action, planned, and use time as a tool. Use that as, okay, I'm in this neighborhood now. Now I'm going to just knock on a few doors around that house. Hi, I'm Logan Claylow. I'm with Howard Hanna Roy Wheeler. I previewed the house next door. It's really nice. I'm going to be holding a house in a couple of weeks, fairly near here. And I just want to let you know that if I can help you in any way, or anybody else you know who's thinking about buying or selling, I'd love the opportunity. And in that conversation, you know, how long have you lived here? Well, we've lived here, blah, blah. Oh, great. You know, and finding out, did they buy or did they rent? If they're renting, oh, okay, when did you move in? Oh, you moved in January. Okay, well, that means that probably in November, December, they're going to be making a decision as to whether or not they're going to, you know, rent again or do something different. So if you can get that kind of information, say, well, you know, can I reach out to you, put you in my database so you get things from me on a regular basis? And can I reach out to you in a few months and see what you're thinking as it relates to what you're going to do after this lease runs out? And getting their permission to reach out. Okay, when would be good? Oh, October. Okay, great. I'll follow back up with you in October, and please start looking for information I might be sending you as it relates to, you know, rent versus buy or however the conversation goes. But the whole point is the intentional planned activity was to preview that house, but at the same time try to meet 3 or 4 people around that house using the fact that you were looking at that house for a particular buyer, or you were looking at that house because you're going to be holding it open, and that you wanted to get their input as to how they like that neighborhood. How long have you lived here? What are the things that you really like about it? Are there things that you wish, you know, were different? You know, those kind of things. Just having a really quick 2 or 3 minute conversation with them. And then the people that you really have a nice conversation with, hopefully you get to the point where you say, would it be okay if I put you in my database? If not, just have a little notebook, you know, a little small notebook that you can open up and put in 2104 Brownstone Lane. And when you get back to the office, you know, pull up the GIS and see who that is. And if it's, you know, if you know they're renting, well, that's not going to help you, right? However, 2 things, again, intentional. One, you can just, you know, put in, friends or whatever, neighbors, and put the address in and send them a note. Hey, I didn't get your name, but I was the agent that talked to you the other day. If I can ever be of help to you, let me know. Here's my business card, you know, that kind of thing. If it's a renter, the other thing you can do is you can send a note to the out of town owner, the non-occupied owner, and just say, hey, I was previewing in this neighborhood. I don't know if you know this, but prices have really gone up. I got a chance to meet your tenant. They seem to be really nice. And if I can ever help you in any way, please let me know. You've got a reason for writing them a note. Hey, I stopped by, found out that you're renting that house out. Don't know how long it's been since you've been here, but the market is appreciated by X amount. You know, last year's was worth this. This year it's worth that. And by the way, here's a link to a place where you can put the address in and see what the home is worth. And there again, you're using the buy side automation to help you hopefully capture some information that you didn't have before. So again, analyzing where your business comes from, putting it, putting time into that space, the things that are productive, put time in there, the kinds of people that are helping you grow your business, put time into them, meet with them, have coffee with them, you know, that kind of thing. Remember what makes you unique and what makes people connect with you. You know, just be you. Just be you. You don't need to be anybody else but you. And my point with that is the more knowledgeable that you can be, the more information that you have about the market, statistical information you have about the market, about interest rates, about all those different things. The more you know about that, the more natural you're going to be, the more you're going to come across as you versus worrying about, man, what if they ask me this question, or what if they do this? If I can get some knowledge about the market, and so when I'm knocking on doors and people say, well, what's going on in the neighborhood? You know, obviously it's a good idea that if I'm going to preview, then I should have an idea of what's happening in that neighborhood. So if I am going to knock on doors around that house that I'm previewing and somebody asks me, I say, well, just as an example, 2 houses have come on the market and sold in this neighborhood in the last 2 months. And I haven't closed yet, but I can tell you they were listed at this price. And in this market, I'm going to guess that they sold pretty close to that and maybe even more than that. That's a natural response. And you don't have to give them any more information than that. Well, what do you think my house would be worth? Well, I'm just meeting you. If you really would like to know, again, scan this QR code. But also, if you'd like to, I'd love to come back at another time and give you kind of a snapshot of what the value of your home would be. And then you set up an appointment with them. That way you can come back, you can do your homework, be ready to sit down with them versus getting, caught into a conversation and not having all the information that you would need. All right, let me catch my breath for a minute. Any questions or thoughts on any of that? Okay, a couple other handouts that I gave you, and it kind of goes along again with this whole aspect of power productivity. And you guys can, you can put up, I think I've emailed it to all of you that are here. But the first one is how to bring customers to you. That's what we need to be doing. We need to be attracting customers. We need to be attracting clients to you. We want to get as many people in the pipeline as we can who are interested in working with us, whether it's buying or selling or again, even renting. Again, if we can work with renters, a year from now, they're a good chance they could be buyers. Also, people that you work with who think they want to rent and then they can't find anything, and then you get them with somebody like Jay, and Jay shows them what they could qualify for, they could turn into a buyer because they can't find anything reasonable to rent in the price range or the monthly rent that they want to pay. And then they find out that that their mortgage payment doesn't have to be a whole lot more than that. And so you can, turn, renters into buyers. But, just some quick things. You guys can read this at your leisure. But, again, consistency, right? It's all about contacts. It's all about contacts. The more contacts we have, the more people we put onto the real estate food chain. The more contacts we have, the more suspects we get to have. And as we qualify them, they become prospects. And as we qualify them, they become customers. And when we sit down with them and get an exclusive right to represent agreement signed or a listing agreement signed, they become clients. And then they become buyers and sellers, and then they become dollars earned, right? That's the real estate food chain. The dollars earned, though, remember, we've done such a great job with them that now they become referral sources. And as they become referral sources, what happens in the food chain is you don't have to go back all the way to suspect. You could go all the way to a customer or a client because somebody calls you up and says, I know you just worked with my friends and they told me that you're the person I should work with to sell my house, or you're the person I should work with to buy a house. And so they've already done the work for you, right? They've already said, this is the person. Now it's a matter of sitting down with them and getting them signed up in the exclusive right to represent or the listing agreement. So consistency, working on your database, continually putting people in, getting your Engage going so that every time you meet somebody new and you get their email address, that the first thing you do is you put them into Engage. You get them in there. So now you've got that starting to work for you, building that database. Secondly, communicating consistently with the database. So you have a database, you've got a sphere of influence. How am I consistently communicating with them? Keeping myself front of mind. And if they're thinking about real estate, they're thinking about Amanda, or they're thinking about Beth Ann, or Kayla, or Logan, or Barb. They're thinking about you guys. Just like the gal last night called me about the appraisal. She thought of me, right? A church member sent me an email and saying, I've got somebody who might be coming in from out of town. Would you guys be able to help them? Somehow, some way, I was front of mind to that person, right? And so they reached out to me versus whoever else they could have reached out to. Producing valuable content. So building the database, consistently communicating, and making sure we're producing valuable content. And again, just information that can help somebody. It could be something about, hey, it may not be too late to refinance. Somebody who obviously missed the 2%, low threes, but the high threes. You may run across people. You could do a search in the tax records and go back to a bunch of years ago when interest rates were 5 or 6%. And those folks still, may have that 5 or 6% interest rate. And so you do a targeted mailing to those folks and say, hey, have you ever thought about refinancing? I have somebody that would be happy to help you with that and see if that was something that would be helpful to you. If there's interesting things going on in their area, like Wednesday, we've got the business meeting on Wednesday at 10, and Ben's going to be doing a workshop on things that you can do to be successful in this challenging market. But I've also got Alan Yost from Greene County Economic Development Authority, who did a really good presentation for CAR last month. And it is phenomenal what is about to happen in Greene. The amount of housing projects that are on tap to go in there, along with mixed use, it's pretty incredible. So he's going to join us Wednesday morning on Zoom and basically give us an overview of all that. That's valuable content. If you know people, and obviously Kayla in the Greene office, but if you know people out in the Greene marketplace, this is information. You take notes and you reach out to those folks and say, hey, just thought you'd be interested to know what is going on out in your neighborhood. Yesterday, there was an article, I think it was in the newspaper, but anyway, how much money Albemarle County is about to spend on 2 new elementary schools and what would you call it? A branch of both Monticello and Albemarle High School. They're going to create a special center, if you will, that both Monticello students and Albemarle students are going to go to. It's going to be built over by Monticello High School. Go to dailyprogress.com. Look for that link. And for those people that you know in your sphere of influence who have little kids or high school kids for that matter, so you just send them the link. Hey, I don't know if you saw this, but the county is earmarking this amount of money into the county for these schools, which has been needed for a long time. The city, renovating Buford, the money they're going to spend on a renovation of Buford. Again, people in in your market where you live over there off Cherry Avenue, that's something that's going to impact folks out there. So to send something out in the neighborhood saying, hey, I don't know if you know, but this has been allocated, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, producing valuable content. Was somebody going to say something? Okay. Again, grow your social media following. The more that you can grow your social media following, the better. And folks, this doesn't just have to be local. Kayla, from the Ohio, Michigan area, she has a bunch of friends up there, family members. Remember, Howard Hanna is expansive as it relates to the number of offices throughout from Indiana east, right? And as far south as North Carolina, as far north as New York, the state of New York. So there's a tremendous amount of Howard Hanna offices. And those referrals are just like Barb referring it to Logan, or Logan referring it to Kayla, or Amanda referring one to Beth Ann. It's within the company. But along with that, you've got the leading RE network of independent brokers all over the country. And so growing your social media doesn't just have to be local. And, I'll give you an example. For me, I've gotten involved in this social media platform called Clubhouse, which is an audio social media platform where you can put in your your interests, and you get notified when people start rooms talking about real estate or talking about motivation or talking about encouragement or talking about women in business or talking about the Ukrainian war, whatever it is, you can get notified and you can go into these rooms and listen to what people are having to say. And I've actually started my own room on Sunday mornings called thankfulinallthings.com. And it's at Sunday mornings at 7:00, which is early. But I wanted to do it at a time that I wasn't stepping on anybody else. I'd spent a fair amount of time. I made a decision I was going to do it at the beginning of this year, spent a bunch of time seeing where there might have been a window. And quite honestly, it was a window because there are not that many people that are doing anything at that time. But it was also, interesting enough, the only time of the week that pretty much every week I have open. 7 o'clock Sunday morning, I knew from 7 to 8, I could do that no matter where I was, and be able to be consistent on doing that. And we've had as many as 100 people in that room since we started just a few weeks ago, which is pretty amazing. And it's just an uplifting room. It's about being thankful in all things. It's about encouraging one another. But the point being is, I now have all these social media friends all over the country. And I'm slowly but surely starting to drip in the fact that I'm a real estate broker. And if they know anybody who's thinking about buying or selling, I can help them. Even though I'm in Virginia, I can refer them to people in Michigan, or I can refer them to people in California or Kentucky or wherever they are. And I've had a couple people reach out so far. So the point being is, I'm growing that social media network in a broader way, and it doesn't just have to be local. The other thing about the social media network is the more that you grow it, the more people get to know you. And so when you get an opportunity to meet with somebody, you can go on their social media site if you're friends, and you can just read through over the last few days of posting and get an idea of who they are and what they think about and what's important to them, and what their kids are doing or whatever. And so when you get with them, you can literally build rapport, right? By saying, hey, I saw that you got a chance to do whatever. And I use my daughter as an example. I saw on social media that your birthday was this weekend, and that you and your husband, had a great night at the Four Seasons in Baltimore. She posted that on Instagram, and so, hey, hope it's really a great time, that kind of thing. And so you can kind of build the rapport, kind of going into the meeting, because you already kind of know them. It also gives you a chance to do some research on people. If they're friends and that kind of thing, you put their name in, and again, get an idea of who they are, what they're about, so that when you do get with them, you've got a much better chance of building that rapport, gaining credibility, and showing people that you care. And then finally, promote other people on social media. That's what we were just talking about. The power of promoting other people. Oftentimes you'll see me with you guys, when I put something in, I will actually highlight you. I will put the @ before your name so that it highlights. So when I post it, people who know you or friends of yours are going to see it. Friends of yours are going to see it, right? Beth Ann Bassett. Beth Bassett has 2 kids who play football out in Western Albemarle, and they had a pretty good season. And there were a couple of times that I said, congratulations on Western Albemarle win. And then I'd highlight Beth Ann. Beth Ann, you must be really proud of your kids, so that she showed up in my social media feed. Just this weekend, although it was just for us, you may have seen it. Howard Hanna, it made a $25,000 contribution to the Ukrainian relief effort, and so I posted that, and then I promised a couple agents. Krista was one. A couple other agents asked me, "Can you find us some safe links that we can not only know that our money's securely done, but it's going to go to there. It's not going to go someplace else. It's going to go directly to the relief effort." And interestingly enough, it's a great example of how pop buys work. Dick Kelly, Barb Kelly's husband, showed up at my door Saturday with a banana bread. And he said he knew that Dottie hadn't been feeling well, because he's in a little group that I lead on Friday mornings. And he said, instead of making one banana bread, I made 2 small ones, and I brought one to you. Let me tell you, it's good banana bread. I've enjoyed it. I'm pretty sure I've gained a couple of pounds eating it. But the point being is, we got to talking about the fact that he used to fly into Moscow. He used to fly into Ukraine in regards to this ministry that he was involved in. And he knew of a relief effort link. And so Dick bringing me banana bread, all of a sudden the ministry that he was involved in got a donation from me. So the cause and effect, he brought me something, he told me something, I made a donation to that, so he can tell all his friends that this one piece of banana, this one little banana bread loaf brought money into the effort. And that's ripple effect, right? And then the other one was somebody local who I've known for a long time, and Christian Educators Organization. It doesn't have to be those. Fiona posted on it on today that she had done one through Red Cross, I think. But the point being is, if all of us do something, then we're going to be adding on to what Howard Hanna did with the $25,000. That $25,000 spurred some agents to say, hey, what can we do? There's that ripple effect again. But the point of all this is, in the Howard Hanna Agent Only Facebook page, I highlighted Barb Kelly in the post. Barb Kelly's husband, Dick, brought banana bread, blah, blah, blah. And so figure out the success in promoting other people on social media. Post about people, businesses in your community. When people are doing good stuff, let them know. You guys have seen me make posts on regarding Bodos in the past, during COVID and things like that. People appreciate it. And people, when you highlight them, people are going to see it. And when they see it, they're going to be grateful. And then the next time you see them, hopefully, you can add, be more intentional about, I'd love for you to be able to help me grow my business as well. So turn to your social media for help. We talked about, networking. We talked a little bit about targeting renters. Another thing with buyers that you're working with, and again, in the handout, hosting a housewarming party. Kay Sands used to do an amazing job with this when she was with us. When she sold a house, she would tell the buyers, she's an amazing cook. She would tell the buyers, invite 6 of your friends and I'll cook dinner for you in your new house. And it was something, it was a gift, right? It was a gift for her. It was the way she cared for people, but it also said thank you to the buyers, but gave her a chance to meet 3 other couples who got to enjoy a really good meal. And, my guess is they're going to remember that she does that kind of thing. And so if they know anybody who's thinking about buying or whatever, it doesn't have to be as big as that, but just, hey, invite some people over for breakfast or lunch or whatever, and I'll supply Bodo's Bagels, or I'll supply, Chick-fil-A nuggets or whatever, as part of your effort. So they do the work, right? You don't have to host it. You can just say, hey, if you're doing a housewarming party, I'll provide, some of the stuff for it. OpCity is a buyer lead generation site that's owned by Realtor.com. I know Fiona just signed back into that. That's a third-party referral source. Redfin, Facebook. Vince has been working really hard in regards to Google and getting that set up and optimized for us. You should be doing it as well for yourselves. And again, we talked about open houses, and then from a standpoint of just getting out there and previewing and talking to people, whether it's for rent by owner, for sale by owner, just building those relationships so that if they do get to a place where they're not feeling good about doing it on their own anymore, and you're on the forefront of their mind, you might have an opportunity for that. So anyway, that's just a lot of different things. I hope that what you're hearing from me is this whole focus on intentionality. Focus on where is it that I want to go? How do I go about generating no business and filling that pipeline? So I have more and more people that are in there. It's frustrating out there. You can't find things for people. It's more frustrating when you only have one person and you can't find it. It's less frustrating that when you have a pipeline and every so often one of them works out, and then so you work on the next ones. The more we can fill the pipeline by reaching out and putting people under our database, the better our business will be in the future. So anyway, that's what I got. Questions?
I have to scoot, but I have one thing totally unrelated that I wanted to ask you. Do I remember that you have said that if one of us has a listing coming up within our company, it can be shown before it's activated?
That's right.
Okay.
That's exactly right. And what we're trying to do, thanks for bringing this back up, what we're trying to do is use the agent only Facebook page for that very reason. If you've got a listing that's not activated yet, it's going to be coming on the market at some point, you can post that in there and say, hey, if you have anybody that's interested, I want to give you a heads up that this is going to be coming on the market, or vice versa. I've got a buyer that's looking in this particular price range. If you know of anything, or if you've got something coming on the market soon, please let me know. We did that a week or so ago, and we got really good response, but then it just tailed off again. So we got to figure out how to keep that as an active communication going on, so that we can help each other in that way.
Okay, thanks.
Yep. All right. Well, have a great day, guys. Thanks for joining us. And as you try these different things out, let me know what works. And if it doesn't work, let me know that too, so that we can kind of, talk about it and see if maybe doing it a different way might have made a difference. But anyway, have a great day.
Great. Thank you, Michael.
Yep.